how do you control all this stuff?
Is it on right now?
Yeah, it's on right now.
You don't have to control anything.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. It open broadcaster. Oh yeah, you can take the coaster. Yeah.
Makes me feel more comfortable.
I think this is a card from Matt Walsh. Yep. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Move that however you need to. It's really light. And as far as the microphone goes over there. I need to get my phone, which is on me. We may even see if I start reading from Sister Carrie. This is going to be really weird for you because you're just going to go, oh, this guy's just reading a book out loud.
This is a book club?
Right next to me.
I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, so welcome to RCR podcast number I don't know what, because Nick isn't here and he remembers what's what. And special guest is Jim. Feel like Jim, last name, or just Jim?
Jim's good.
Jim's good. Jim brought a very special car for us, something from the 90s. You think it's not special. I think it's special because they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, they do.
You have a functioning, drivable version of one of the cheapest cars in America in the 90s. A car so slow, it was a joke. A car so slow, the Simpsons made fun of it.
They did.
And people already know what we're talking about, but we'll save it because it's coming up, and I think in 2 weeks is when we have one video we need to get to. We'll be riding tomorrow, and after that will be your car. Came up with some jokes about it while we were at the restaurant tonight. Ethan couldn't join us tonight. He's working, and I need to pull up. Still need to pay you for that vermouth. I will. And I also have to pay. A little bit of hot sauce came up on that one. I have to pay Blake Wrong for fixing my watch that I got for free from a different Jim Schulman.
Oh.
Jim Schulman got me for Christmas a broken watch.
How nice. How thoughtful.
Yeah, it's great. He got me a Seiko, a classic Seiko it has a mechanical movement, but the movement doesn't wind the watch. It's a little dynamo in the back that charges a capacitor.
Whoa. So
it's like an extra step for no reason. It's an electric watch.
With a mechanical movement. Like you're making,
but just for charging.
For charging.
Like you look at the back, there's like little copper coils and a little magnet on. Normally, like the little thing in the back would just be a weight that winds.
It goes to the spring. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why
not
did they
this
do
fucking
that?
thing? No. This is like it's like blah blah with extra steps. But I think it's cool, and I think he found even a strap for it because the strap was just gone. I think I mailed it to him. Shout out to Blake Wrong. I still have to pay him for that, for him to mail it back to me. He's all the way out in Brooklyn. So either I think he repaired it himself. First, I thought he was just going to take it to a shop because he's like a watch guy.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really a watch guy, but car people tend to be watch guys. And Ben McElwee, who's come up like in conversation 5 times tonight, got himself a Submariner in stainless steel.
Okay.
Not like the really subdued one.
Yeah.
That supposedly is harder to get. Like it's easier to get the silver one. It's easier to get the gold one. But to get just the brushed stainless steel, like the low-key one, somehow is like harder.
Wow.
To get that.
I'm not a watch person, but I know of that Submariner. That's like one of the watches to go for.
Yeah. It's. I mean, Submariner is like the 911 of watches. Mm-hmm. It's like people think they're rare and they're not really. You know, but they're around.
But
they're still cool.
Cool watches. Yeah.
I mean, I want every now and again. I think I should buy a Rolex, but it's just for me to be a dick. Like the whole idea of me buying a very expensive watch is for when I'm sitting in seat 1A on any flight. Oh. That's my seat. I sit in 1A, first class. Is it a domestic flight? Yes, I'm up there. I am paying this, and this is like not a healthy one. I talked to my therapist about this. It's like, guess what? The kid that you called a faggot growing up, who you made fun of, guess where I'm sitting now? I'm up here. get your ass in the back. I'm having a drink. I'm having whiskey as you're getting on the plane. They're bringing me a hot towel. What are they bringing you? Attitude. What are they saying to me? Thank you. Hello, Mr. Ryder. So, yeah. That's how I roll, bitch.
I sit in a seat in the plane. If it's an A seat, I'm happy.
You roll with me. Like when I fly to conventions, because my case is so big, it's cheaper for me to buy a first class ticket.
And you get to put the whole thing.
I have a Pelican case. It's out there.
Just for
the suit.
For the suit. Oh,
that I don't talk about. That doesn't exist.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, what am I talking about?
What? Wacky.
You think my luggage ever gets lost? No, it fucking doesn't. Because attached to the tag on my luggage says priority, and it's bright orange American, right? American Airlines, right on it. My shit is the first on the plane, and it's the first off the plane. I'm in a lift heading toward the hotel while you're standing around there with a thumb up your ass, hoping someone from your Discord chat is coming to pick you up. Am I getting on a lift? Fuck no, I'm getting in a Lift XL, and I'm the only goddamn one in it.
Don't even need it. Getting it anyway.
Just nobody. We got some super chats coming in. Ryan Vance says, Denali failed to yield on her way back home and totaled my What? Denali failed to... a Denali failed to yield and totaled my Outback. Oh. Here's a toast in loving memory of that wonderful car. I know you miss your Fozzie. Yes, I miss my Subaru Forester, but I know it's in good hands. Corey Walton in Delaware, a student at Del Tech College, has it now. And she's replaced a lot. She replaced the impossible bolt. There's a bolt on the rear suspension. I forget where. They're independent rear suspension, and there's this one bolt, and I forget what it holds in. I think it holds the hub assembly.
Okay, yeah, I think the axle nut itself, because my parents have the same model Forester, and I haven't really dived too much into it, but apparently if you have to do the wheel bearings or anything hub related on that, there is that nut that holds it all together, and it's like you can't get it off. Like it's just, you're heating it up with a torch, you're banging on it. Yeah. It's a nightmare.
There's this one like Australian guy who shows you how to get it out, and then an Australian boy said, if you're trying to get this out, you're fucking well fucked, mate, or something like that. And it's like he's there with the torch, you just melt the fucker. Yep. Corey just had to get the wizard. You just had to cut the bolt in two places, and like one on either side, and just somehow get it out.
Yeah,
it sucks because like the bolt should be completely encased, but there's like an area where the threads are exposed.
It goes through the hub on the backside and it rusts up and gets like bigger.
Yeah.
And as you start backing it out, it gets tighter in the hub. Yeah. Something like that.
Something like that.
Thankfully, my parents' Forester, we have not yet to do that. It's just kind of like keep driving it, pretend nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
Kind of deal, you know?
Just Nobody Again says, Essential Elves goes hard. It's been getting me through Christmas. All my friends love it. Might well do a cover myself if you guys are okay with it. Nick would love that. Nothing would make Nick happier than doing a cover of one of his songs. I wonder if I should move that camera closer to us, because all people are going to see is just my feet going around. I have this bad habit of whenever my feet are elevated, they just go like this the whole time.
I can move the camera. You want me to move it?
Yeah, you move the camera closer. You can use the laptop over there to judge what the camera's pointing at. Yeah. Rise Again says, Steerage is where poor people lived. Missed opportunity to call it impossible.
Do you want the feet in the shot, or do you not want your feet?
You know, I kind of don't want my feet in It's kind of hard. I guess I can get that camera kind of close. Yeah, it's good. So the only thing that remains of my Forester is the taillight assembly, which is right up there. That is the only thing that a Tesla Model X damaged when he hit the back of my car.
Oh, wow!
I did over $1,000. Like he did $1,000 of damage to himself, and that he broke that. That's all he broke.
Did the insurance like have to go through and be like, oh, we have to
No, I knew the guy.
Oh,
We just walked away.
oh, that's the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I just went on eBay. $65, new taillight. It even came with light bulbs in it. I just plugged it in.
It's like you have to change them. How old are those bulbs? I don't know. They light up. It's fine.
They light up. Yeah.
Yeah. I miss those days of just, get into like a bump, like a fender bender, and it's like, nothing really happened. It's whatever,
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, we were in high school, and my friend just got his license, and he had an '89 Ford Aerostar, and we're going, and someone pulls out, stop short, guy in a brand new Toyota Corolla. Oh, it was the Corolla, or it was the Chevy Prism. It was that weird year when they were both the same car or whatever.
Yeah.
And he rear ends us in this car, and like it was like bam, and we go out. His front of that car is like caved in. We look at the back of the Aerostar, literally nothing, nothing. There was not a scratch because it was just like the metal beam behind the plastic bumper is like right up against the plastic, so like nothing happened to it. And we're like, oh, that sucks. And we went to the boardwalk. And that guy was like, my brand new Toyota is totaled, basically.
Awesome. I used to think that way, even though it's not the same thing. When I was in my Falcon, I mean, I knew that was a flimsy car. Like American '60s cars are not. People think, oh, that's when they're all metal.
They'll protect you.
Yeah, that's shit metal. But the thing is, seeing that chrome steel bumper back there, no one got close to me. It's like, go ahead, run into me. Like probably on a low speed thing, I wouldn't be okay, honestly. Because those taillights are right at the end. That thing would fuck that car up.
And there's no crumple zones or anything. Like that, all that momentum's going right into your body. Like it's like, even though it's all metal, and it looks pretty, tough. But.
Yeah. What do you think the best car to get rear-ended in is? Besides, you could just say Hummer H1 and end the conversation. But
I think a 1993 Buick Roadmaster.
Nice, good answer.
You got a lot of space between you.
Yeah,
in the back.
Yeah. Roadmaster, it came in the wagon or the sedan?
The wagon. Wagon with the Vista top on it. Like, even though that has nothing to do with being rear-ended, I just think it'd be nice to have the Vista top while you're getting rear-ended.
Yeah. I kind of want to go like late 80s Chevy Suburban. Oh, I mean, now I'm just going to like just big trucks.
Big trucks, yeah.
I know. Big trucks is kind of like, like a cop-out. I could say... like a Chevy Caprice Classic.
Yeah.
That could be a thing. Although they do ride kind of low. I think cars that ride higher, you get hit by another car, they kind of go under a little bit. You could do the dumb thing. Anybody with any car that has a receiver in it, you just put the biggest, ugliest hitch on the back.
The hitch on the back.
Like, the multi-hitch?
Yeah. That
you turn it and it's a different one. One has a hook on it.
Yeah, and it's just a one, welded piece of metal. And it just slides in, yeah.
That's like a move.
I know. I actually had seen that when I worked at U-Haul because we installed hitches. Yeah. And, there were people that were coming in and they were like, I want a hitch on the back of the car for towing. He's like, no, because... it's a big metal thing. They'll hit that before they hit the bumper of the car, kind of deal. And they used to actually, you've probably seen that little chrome step.
Yep,
that kind of fits in.
They still sell those things. Yeah,
and it's like, what are you doing with that? You're not doing anything with that. You're just putting that there. So if someone's parallel parking, they're smashing into that, and they're not hitting your car.
Yeah, or if you do get an accident, it's like the spite bar. It's like, you can hit me, but I'm literally going to wreck your AC condenser with this.
Yep.
Generous donation from F1Ns for Ns. I think that's $20 Canadian. Thank you. What's a guy got to do to get you a review of Formula One car? How much are those things? Are they $5 million?
Yeah, it's the price of a small town.
Better yet, do it with me. Love your channel almost as much as I love blatant simping. So you simp in the open.
Just blatantly.
Just laughing at Twink's jokes really hard. You can probably turn the microphone. You see there's a little piece of red tape on that?
Facing on.
Yeah, these are the type of microphones that are really meant to be upright, like the one over there by the computer.
They just sit like this.
There's a little nut on the bottom where you can loosen that and you can turn it. If you can loosen the nut on the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's in a general area. I mean, can everybody hear the Jim? I mean, these mics are nicely sensitive. Chevy Suburban with a red velour interior.
Oh, the red. Red carpet, red plastic interior panels, red headliner, kind of falling down a little bit, with all the thumbtacks in it. That's the way to go.
I have a 1964 Bel. They were still making the Bel Air in the 60s. On hydraulics, you can drive it if you want to review it. Well, someone says Lancer Gallant says an F1 car costs around $15 million.
Oh,
a
little off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like all I know about driving those things is what I saw on like Top Gear when Hammond went into one, and they're so terrible. You have to drive them at the limit in order to have grip.
Oh, like
the tires have to be so hot. Like I've never driven a full-on racing car. I've driven track day cars.
Yeah. That
Fox body we gave away, that was a track. Yeah, that was another like autocross style car with a roll cage in it. Race cars aren't fun cars to drive places. They're great on a track, but even on a track, they're hard. Like, I think the most intense thing I've driven is Monica Harrison and David McNewitt's Porsche 996. That's 996 point something. 996. What's the name of that car? It's not a 911. It's the mid-engine Carrera. No, not Carrera. That's a trim model. Cayman.
Oh, the Cayman.
Wait, is it Cayman?
Yeah, that's not.
What's the SUV?
That's the
Cayenne. Cayenne is the SUV.
Yeah, the
Cayman's the mid-engine. So it was a Cayman that was converted by Sharkworks into a race car.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean it had the lap belts. It had the 3-point lap belts for driving on the street, and then a 4-point or a 5-point harness for track work.
Yeah.
And that thing was hard. It was like an old wooden roller coaster, but I'm not full of, ice cream and good vibes. I'm full of terror.
Yeah, like you can't take that to the grocery store. Like,
no. Friends, hit those guys up. He'll be glad to. Friends, it says something. I'm not above simping. It gets you comedy combined with my love of, I don't know what they're talking about. Hit those guys up. 987 came on. No, 996. Drive like a 1994 Brenneton. What's that?
Brenneton? I have
no idea what that
Beretta?
Beretta? We've never done a Chevy Beretta. That's something on the list. Yeah, what haven't you drive that you want to? I want to drive a Beretta. And as long as I'm driven, they did make a NASCAR pace car edition.
They did Indy, yeah.
Oh, you're right, Indy. It was an Indian app. Fuck.
Yeah, it was teal.
It was awesome.
You could get it in white or teal, and it had colored matched wheels.
God damn, that's right.
Mm-hmm. That was a high school car. Like, there was Berettas in that parking lot in high school.
I remember Berettas. Did Steve Dybert, did they make a Beretta? Did that come in convertible?
No, I don't think it did.
Okay, then what did Steve Dybert have?
The Sunbird?
Maybe. I remember he had some sort of convertible. Did the Cavalier come in as a convertible?
Yeah, Cavalier came in as convertible. And then the Pontiac Sunbird, which was the Cavalier, but it was the Pontiac edition. It was like the most expensive convertible Cavalier you could get. Like,
then it had to be one of those two, because this would have been when we were all getting our licenses. And then there was like the few people who got a license and a car to go with.
Yep.
And I wasn't friends with any of the rich kids. And even I remember like my one friend who I consider a rich kid. I won't say his name. I don't put him on blast. But I remember I was really happy when I got invited to his New Year's party. And by that, I mean called him and asked him if I could come to his New Year's party. He was just driving a Geo Tracker senior year.
Okay.
So he was driving a Geo Tracker, and then I think it was like him and Mike Buffano, who wasn't a rich kid. See, it's weird. Like I'm living in the rich part of town that I didn't grow up in. I didn't grow up in this area of the county. I grew up in a more rural part, like not in town.
Yeah.
Like where we are now was considered the rich part. Well, we're in the town part, but then there was like some housing developments that were the rich part of town, which you would consider to be like maybe Farmingdale. That's not really.
Well, there, yeah, like from a Jersey kind of thing, a rural, like bougie area is kind of like Farmingdale. It's like, yeah, it's like there's farms and stuff, but there's also like big expensive houses next to the farms kind of deal. Yeah.
So yeah, he had a Geo Tracker, and then he had, I think, a YJ Wrangler.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing. Jeeps have never gone on a style. What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about rich kids, cars. Steve Dybert, yeah. We were in the parking lot of the Burger King because, oh man, growing up, that's before all the other brands got out here. We just had the McDonald's, which was newer, and the Burger King, which was older. But I was always a Burger King guy growing up.
That was McDonald's or Burger King, right?
Right. Because we didn't have, there was no Taco Bell. There was a Wendy's out by the ophthalmologists where the older McDonald's was. Now we're going as far back as, now in the 90s, Wendy's had a thing called a Super Bar.
Yes.
Yeah,
the little Super Bar. Yep.
And there also was a Ponderosa Steakhouse.
Love Ponderosa. Yeah.
Which also had a kick-ass buffet bar that also had like taco meat and...
You never got the entree. You were always
Fuck off.
You're like, well, would you like the steak? No, I'm getting that salad bar, and I'm making every conceivable dish out of that bar.
Yeah. Ponderosa, man. It was so wild that the Ponderosa left, and... I don't know if Ponderosa is just an East Coast thing. When Nick and I went on our trip out to Boulder, Colorado, we made a stopover in North Bend, Indiana. That's where Notre Dame is, I think.
Okay.
South Bend, Indiana. Excuse me.
Bend.
And there was a Ponderosa there.
Really?
Like,
Still
fuck
there?
off, we're going to a Ponderosa. And I'm like, I'm getting this bar. I think Nick actually got like some sort of steak. I'm like, the steak's bullshit.
No.
You just eat this. And we're sitting here like, this is bizarre that we're at a Ponderosa.
This shouldn't be happening.
In 2016? No, 2015 is when we made that trip.
Yeah.
In the Honda Fit.
Yeah, all those in Jersey have been gone since the early 90s. And I went down to Florida, and this was like around 2005, 2006, and I lost my mind because there just happened to be a Ponderosa in the middle of Florida for no reason, the only one. And I was right there, and everybody's like, where do you want to eat? I'm like, Ponderosa. This is my only chance. Like, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to be able to live with myself ever again, knowing that I passed up the opportunity to eat at a Ponderosa in the 2000s.
Yeah. Was it as good as you remember?
It was fine.
Yeah.
But damn it was good.
Yeah. I mean, when you're a little kid eating the little ham cubes, dude, and the little La Choy crispy wonton kind of like those little strips.
Oh, from the crunchy little stick things.
Yeah, the stick things. Yeah. Those were good.
What the hell were those?
I don't know. You can still buy those. I think like 4C or something makes them.
Oh, man. I haven't had those in such a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had little ham cubes and... In the cheese, they had the for the nacho, for the taco cheese, and they had the cheese sauce, and you could just put
which was just whiz.
Yeah, it was cheese. Yeah, but you could just put it in anything. Like you want mac and cheese? Go get some of that spaghetti. Mix it there. You got mac and cheese. You want some taco meat? It's like possibilities were endless at Ponderosa.
What is this crusty stuff all on my legs?
That's
cum. What did I get up to today?
I know
I had to run through the field to get those shots. Unless this is like drips from the restaurant, like hot sauce. I don't know. Boris doesn't have a question, but thank you for the donation. Thank you. One person says, a friend says, where I come from, Ponderosa is a pawn shop chain, and I've never heard of Ponderosa, P-A-W-N.
Ponderosa.
I wonder where he is now. I wonder where Friends is. Is he Europe, UK? Oh, Friends says, what are your thoughts on Underglow? Well, take me back to the night. You know what? Was it Steve Dybert? Did he also? Okay, we never finished the story about him and his convertible Corolla.
Yeah, Ponderosa.
Because we were at the Burger King.
Okay.
And he was showing off his new head unit, which it was a head unit, but instead of a tape deck, and it wasn't a CD, what was it?
Mini disc.
Mini disc.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You got to hear how this sounds. He had subwoofers in the back, which was, I don't know if they were built in. He probably just had the box.
Yeah.
And like the amp. So he didn't have the torpedo tube. He had a legit thing. And he played something on mini disc. And it was thunderous. He was like, yeah, pretty cool, huh? I'm like, this is pretty cool. It's cool that you have a car to begin with. And then I think he had some sort of underglow, because I started seeing that when the school, like at night after the football games, because I was in marching band, and so the band would stick around until everybody left the stands, or almost everybody left. And when our team would finish, these were only home games, our team would finish, they would have the sort of debrief huddle on the field.
Okay.
And afterward, they would face us. We would play the alma mater, and then they were dismissed back to the locker room or weight room or wherever.
Yeah. Man.
And by that time, a lot of the parents and everybody had left the stadium. So, you know what? Even when we walked back to the band room, or marched back, actually, we marched back to the cadence. We played our cadence back up to the band room. And there would be a line of cars still waiting to leave. It was like it was a traffic jam to leave the school.
Oh, yeah. It'd be a mess getting out, yeah.
And you could, from where the band room was, you could see the driveway to the school leading out to the main road. And occasionally, you would see a car with purple underneath
lights.
it.
Yeah.
Because my high school years was 1996 to the year 2000.
Yeah,
and
I was 1 year ahead of that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you graduated in 99.
Oh, no. I graduated in 01.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty much the same time.
Yeah.
And Steve Dybert's car may have been one that had some underglow on it, but in the 90s, LEDs were still kind of a expensive thing, so it might have been neon tubes.
It was neon. Yeah, it was either neon or colored fluorescent.
Wow.
They didn't have LED yet, and I remember seeing people putting those on there, and they'd work for about 6-7 months. You hit a rock or something, it would crack, and then people would just leave them under the cars, like getting filled with dirt and sand and everything. And I actually ended up buying a couple cars, like from other kids I knew in school later on, and I go under, and sure enough, there's all the busted underglow with the speaker wire used for the power of the underglow, and it's fished over like the exhaust manifold, and
twisted tape,
twisted around the axle. It was just, everybody that was like, I'm gonna put underglow in my car, and nobody knew how to install underglow. No one ever installed.
Was it wired directly to the battery?
It was, wired to some toggle switch that's dangling under the dashboard. That's just going right to the battery with no fuse in it, kind of deal. And you just driving along, and there's this busted underglow just dangling from underneath the car. Like,
man, I don't think that stuff's coming back.
I don't think so. I know. Actually, what I've seen now is the jacked up trucks and then putting the lights inside the wheel wells to like light up the tops of the tires. Did you see that? That's like kind of.
I haven't seen that around here. I've seen We got plenty of people poking their tires out on their car, on their trucks. I've seen plenty of, boomers with their Harleys that they put the lights inside the frame to shine on the engine. That's a thing.
On the engine. Yeah, I've seen that. Yep.
But I haven't seen people lighting up the wheel wells.
In Jersey, I've seen the lit up wheel wells. Yeah, like so you can see like the shocks and stuff and the wheels and like.
Massive Loner 96. Have you guys done a Buick Rietta yet? No. And if it is one, it has to be the one with the CRT touchscreen in it.
Yeah. I mean, I had so many opportunities to buy one because I'm always searching for weird, odd cars, and I've always gotten like this close to buying one. And, and they're always to the point where I was like, yeah, I can get one of these for like $2,000-3,000 and like fix it up. And then I'm like, it's a Buick, and I just stop and I never grab it. But I there were so many times I almost got it, like bought a Buick. Someday maybe I'll end up with one. I don't know.
Yeah. I need some water. Throat's hot. These chairs, I'll tell you what. I almost want to have like Ethan. What I kind of want is when that laptop goes away, that laptop will become the thing that finds my phone if I ever lose it. The thing that finds my iPhone. Because you can, find my iPhone. You can
search that
from a MacBook.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I'll go at Facebook Marketplace, get a new computer with Windows 10 in it, because everybody's making fun of me because I'm still running Windows 7. Because it's working.
It works.
I've done RCR with it this entire time.
Yeah.
It's the one computer. Like, I built that computer over there shortly after I formed the LLC, RCR LLC. So 2015, I think, is when I built that. And it's been a fantastic machine. It's never let me down. The only thing it can't do is 4K, which is fine because my main camera, the Nikon D750, it's a full frame.
Yeah.
Full frame SLR, it shoots at 1080p. And that's the primary camera that does everything. Yes, the GoPros can do 4K, but I haven't really needed, and it hasn't really hurt me to do anything less than that. But I recognize that if I ever get new cameras, I'd need a new computer. And then my brother gave me Death Stranding because I never played that game.
Oh, yeah.
But that computer can't run it because it needs Windows 10.
Oh, that's right. That's the actually Windows 10 was what kind of pushed me to Windows 10 was because of gaming. Because the same thing, I had Windows 7 forever. It did everything I needed to do. It was quick, nothing problem. Yeah. And then like some new games came out, and it was like, oh yeah, it's like no, that's Windows 10 only. And I was like, well, I guess I have to get Windows 10. So that was gaming kind of pushed me to that. And what's kind of scaring me now is that Windows 11 is coming out, and the thing is with the Windows 11, there's like security things that are in the CPU, that there's these chips or something that Windows 11 needs to have, and if the older computers don't have that in the CPU, it was not able to upgrade to Windows 11. So like I have a Windows 10 machine that's plenty fast, everything's fast, but it doesn't have that security thing built into the CPU, so it will never be able to run Windows 11. And people are like, well, eventually Windows 10 is going to go away. And I'm like, well, I'm stuck because I'm not building another computer right now. Like,
yeah, right. It's insane.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like pretty nice machines on Facebook Marketplace for $1,000.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's the thing. When everybody goes to Windows 11, maybe I can get up a fuck off nice Windows 10 computer.
Yeah.
Because Windows 10 will still run my version of Premiere. And even if it doesn't, then I just have to kick myself in the ass and learn Blackmagic DaVinci as an editing program.
Oh, that whole thing from start to finish, right?
Yeah. It'll fuck up my workflow. Because if I really want to feel sad and like stay inside all day, I can edit an RCR video in one day. But that's sun up to, and I'll finish it around 5 p.m. And my back will hurt.
You're just like, oh.
Yeah. And then I'll just head to the gym, and then that'll be my day. And then I don't know, I'll do something Tuesday or not. I'm at the point now where like sitting too long in that chair right there really hurts. And I've noticed it now that sometimes if I'm standing for a long time, my lower back starts to hurt. Oof. And I don't know what that's about, which is weird because, you know, we walked a mile to the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
I can walk all day long. I can go on jogs. I can go on the elliptical machine for an hour. I can walk around. I'm fine. But something about standing, it's like this hurts. It's weird. And I need to lean on something and I need to move my lower spine around. And eventually, like, I need to sit down, man. I don't know what this thing is. What's going on here? Man, I need water. I see some water over there. Oh, gimme.
Water. Oh, that was like a tear of water in that glass. Yeah, I thought it was a whole glass.
I'm going to get water.
Go get a real amount of water.
Now you get to entertain the stream.
Oh, boy. That's great. See, that's it. He's getting the water. Can't wait to see him come back with that water.
Cold air coming out from the kitchen.
Oh, my God. That kitchen is like an ice box. Romex is the king of electrical conduit, all right? Don't come at me with the BX. Don't come at me with the knob and tube. Romex. And direct burial Romex. That's the really good stuff. That's the stuff you don't even have to put in a plastic conduit. You can direct bury that right in the ground as long as it's down a certain amount of feet. Yeah.
Really?
The gray stuff.
We ran conduit out to the garage.
Oh, that's 220. That's different.
Oh, it's a different thing. Okay.
If you were like doing like a lamppost or something like out in the yard, like you can just do direct burial Romex. Fun stuff.
Live chat. Good evening, Mr. Regular. Do you know if Captain Richardson or Tony Tony Airlines and Greg International were affected by the NOTAM outage early this morning. I noticed fewer. Yeah, Tony, let me go to Tony's messages. I know Ian Finance was like held up somewhere. Yeah, everything is back to normal. Currently on my way back from Jamaica. Super long day. Oh, so Tony Airlines was affected by the NOAA. By the ATC was out for a while.
Really?
Air traffic control.
I did not know
some sort
this.
of network. I don't know, something dumb.
Whoa.
And they couldn't talk to each other. So wherever planes were, that's where they were today. So it was a shit show today. But boo-hoo, Tony was stranded in Jamaica today. Oh.
I'd like to be stranded in Jamaica.
Everything's back to normal. Currently on my way back to Jamaica. Super long day. Yeah, I know, because I think it was like a 5 a.m. report, which means he was up at 3 a.m. to drive to JFK this morning. And he's coming home now at 16 p.m. So yes, Tony was affected. If Greg was out, he'd be texting me complaining. Jim Schulman's watching. He says, thrilled you found someone who could fix that horological platypus. That was the guy who gave me that watch.
Oh, okay.
Justin forwarded me a picture that you took of him there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I know that person. I'm going to send him a picture of himself going, hey, look, I'm looking at a picture of you.
I see your legs every time I leave the house.
They're eye level. It's very
yeah.
You can't miss them.
I wonder if basketball guy got back to me.
I don't know.
Hey, how about you have a podcast? And no, he didn't. But I'm gonna say. He doesn't know he doesn't know who I am.
He doesn't know.
He'll figure it out. I don't know.
Don't worry.
Maybe I'll drink too much and
I'm gonna get that other beer.
Take his pants off. I gotta call him. He's got to be at a, like. I went back and looked at his. I looked at his Twitter. Like he mentioned like he went to a convention somewhere. Oh. I will now. Lord knows he's probably in fucking Narnia or some shit. You know, I'll bet he lives in frickin' like Portland, like everybody else.
It's so cold in here.
This guy I was talking to, like I have an internet crush on. I don't even know what he looks like. I was just freaking role playing with him, but he said he has basketball-sized balls. Right? Who has that? Is it a medical oddity? I've seen people with I've seen pictures of people with elephantitis on their balls, but this guy says he doesn't. Nah. I just freaking said it. The guy freaking said he had basketball-sized nuts. Yeah. Like maybe it's like a freak. Like maybe it is true. Like if it is true, the guy never sent me a picture of it. So
it's
like
unconfirmed.
It's totally unconfirmed. All I said is that, you know, we know each other and he knows who you are. So
But I didn't know about the basketball thing at all.
No. But like you know, Discord is such a thing where even if it says someone's online, that could mean anything.
The computer could be on and they're taking a shit or something,
yeah.
You know?
I thought like eventually it goes to a way with a little half moon shape. So who knows?
We'll never know.
Derek Dude says, I think I've seen those chairs at IKEA. Yeah, you have. These are just Poangs. They're in everywhere. You buy them, they're great. They sort of swivel back and put knocks against your wall.
Yeah.
I get weird when like really fat people sit in them. You're not fat. It's like, dude, these things. There's a stressed member like right here. There's nothing holding them up in the back.
Yeah, it's just bending the entire time you're sitting.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it's laminate or a composite, but you kind of weird. Isaac says, so that's what Mr. Regular meant by hyper kink. Yeah, that's my kink. It's hyper. If you had basketball balls, you'd be sending pics. You totally fucking would.
Right?
Right?
You'd be world famous.
Yeah. Like there was that one like Reddit post by this one guy. Like it was a guy, and we were trying to figure out if it was real or not. I only saw it like well after the fact. It was a guy standing in a doctor's office, naked, and it was from the back, and he had his nuts pushed back behind, and his nuts were bigger than his ass cheeks.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So they're like together they're about the size of a watermelon back there. Ooh. And he's just sort of looking and like, is this guy real? Is it not? Because you see people who have elephantitis of the genitalia, and it's just a mess down there. It's just like a lumpy kind of beanbag, pus-filled tumor-looking thing. The dick doesn't look like a dick anymore. It looks like an overstuffed burrito that's about to ooze from both ends. It's gross.
Oh, no.
But this one guy in this doctor's office had frickin' his balls were ready for prime time.
But they're just big.
It was just big. It's like, motherfucker. But of course, you wonder if the dick's going to be the same. Basketball sizes are overrated. Tell him to show him or he's lying. RCR, when was the last time you visited Justin Burnash's garage and shop? Justin Burnash's garage closed. His warehouse space is just... his original company is being dissolved between him and his partner. I don't know what's happening with the... I mean, they were just renting the property, so when the lease runs out, I guess it runs out. But I have lunch with him every month. And when do you think you'll see him again? I'll see him this month. Whenever I go back, take the next giveaway car back, which is coming out on Monday. Dad Joke Cinema says, back in 2009, I went to look at a 1980 Dodge Omni electric car conversion. It was a really so if it was 1990, those would either be lead acid batteries,
yeah.
Or if it was really baller, NiCad, nickel cadmium. Do Do you remember nickel cadmium batteries?
Yeah, those the rechargeable. Like, well, the nickel cadmium is basically like the same cheap like Radio Shack AA battery. It's the same guts in it.
Yeah.
And I guess like you can put that in a car battery.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know what the deal, if the difference between NiCads and regular wet cell car batteries.
Yeah, well, wet cell's lead acid, so it's just, it's just those are lead plates sitting in acid, and when you charge the battery, it energizes those plates, and then it off, out the thing. Nickel cadmium is almost like a paste. There's nothing really wet in the battery, so I guess they can handle recharging and like fast discharge or something, because all those 80s electric cars and everything, all those things, they ran on basically golf cart batteries.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And
the GM EV1 was pretty much golf cart batteries.
Yeah. Actually, I remember the EV1 when that came out. Was in Epcot, and they had the World of Motion thing.
Yeah.
And when you got off that ride, they had all the concept cars. They had all sorts of stuff you could look at. And they had the concept for the EV1. And they were like, oh, this is going to be the future. This is an electric car. And then it was called the Impact. That was the prototype name of that. And I remember it was me and my dad, and there was a representative from GM there. Like, this is the new Impact. It's electric. And my dad's like, yeah, you shouldn't call a car an Impact. That's a really bad name. Like, and she's like, well, we're working on names. We're going to find out what it's going to be. Like, yeah, Impact is a really bad name for a car. Don't call it an Impact.
Yeah. Gosh, I had vague memories of that in the 90s. I knew it existed. I remember Tom Hanks had one. He was talking about it on like Leno or something.
Yeah, they went out of their way to make sure celebrities got those. Tom Hanks had one. Danny DeVito had one. And Danny DeVito actually put up a fight because the whole thing was if you get an EV1, you had to sign a contract. That,
it's a lease. You have to give it back.
You have to give that car back, and he was fighting to keep that car.
Nice.
And but they took them all. Yeah.
I have an email of someone who works at Delco, the company.
Yeah.
And supposedly they have one.
Oh, like a not crushed one? Like
not a crushed one. That they just did something with the books, said it wasn't there, but it's fucking there.
They hit it, yeah.
But whether or not it can be driven, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, so if you talk about the ultimate car to get is the one you can't get that was crushed, the EV1. There's one at the Peterson Museum in L.A. There's one there. That's so dumb that they crushed them.
Yeah. Now, and to think now, if we still had EV1s today, like even though they would be old, the technology that we have now would make them even more amazing.
Yeah.
Like they were able to pull that off like 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah. And the range was bullshit. It was 90 miles.
Oh yeah, but like to have the batteries and things that we have now, like it would be cool to see that car like updated,
Brian Allen doesn't have a question. Oh, Brian Allen says $5 to nut. What?
It sounds like a special at Wendy's.
Yeah. They disabled them. Honestly, New York highways are fun as fuck. You just need some suspension travel. I think these are people talking amongst themselves. They're all crushed.
New York, I worked in New York for 10 years, and there was this one pothole that kept getting bigger and bigger. It was like a sinkhole or something. And they put a cone over the sinkhole, and it started getting bigger. And eventually, they took the cone, and then they flipped it upside down and stuck the cone in the hole. So then it was just like a funnel, and all the rainwater and everything, it just turned into a drain, and they left it like that. Like, I was like, all right, problem solved itself.
Evan P. says, load up on D-cell batteries and get ready to boo Santa. Nice. Pulling that one from the deep. What? Oh, that was from my Lincoln Town Car review. When my grandma had a purple. 94.
That metallic-y, powdery color? Yeah.
Yes. We sold that to a kid from Wilkes-Barre for like $1,000.
Yeah.
Yep. That was running the 4.6 modular. A bunch of some of the seats weren't broken. There was electrical stuff just breaking. Like windows didn't work.
Yeah, power mirrors and stuff.
Such a cushy car, man.
Yep.
Purple. We called it Barney the Purple Dinosaur.
Those didn't have the air ride suspension, did
This
it?
one did have.
It did.
There was an option.
Yeah.
To have the self-leveling suspension only in the rear.
Yep.
Load up the rear, and it would level. Yeah.
My neighbor had one that blew out, and it was just sagging
on the ground. Yep. Yeah. You just replace it with some Monroe shocks and call it a life. A great career. The guy who works on potholes, never had to work a day in his life. I remember when Ford made electric Rangers in the late 90s.
Yeah, it was just bone stock Ranger loaded up with batteries. There you go. Same thing. Like that was their approach to everything. I think and I think it was from Ford. Like Ford released that, and it was just like you literally just took a Ford Ranger and put a bunch of batteries in it. Like
where did the batteries go? In the
they
bed,
were like
or?
In the top of the engine, and I think the bed was like shallower, and they were lined underneath or something. But yeah, I remember seeing one of those, and it was like a Ford Ranger with like an extension cord hanging out of it. It was it was so basic.
Still going back to Discord if this guy says anything. All I said to him was like, blah, blah, blah says hi. I am drunk. Dinner. Do you have the time to open your mouth when I am really lonely and the lights are out?
Classic song.
Justin Lowe says, really takes the luster off it when you put it that way. I look at your legs every time I leave the house. Tony Richardson says, yes, join me. I guess you're at home, but not. I am streaming now.
Streaming now.
Singing everything like I am in Green Day.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
Nothing left here except my friend Brandon. I need a forerunner for work. I am constantly working in wetlands and sand. It'll at most see small road trip 6 hours or less. But other than that, I will probably fly. Guess what, Brandon? I'm answering this on the podcast.
Real time.
You sold your iconic 5 and now want a forerunner. You will pay a lot for gas. It's horribly thirsty all the time. Your back and taint will be punished to death. But I guess if you want it and you don't mind anal punishment, then you can pay a fuck ton for an old Toyota. I just sent it to him. He's a cool guy. I got into a thing with Donovan Geiger because he wanted to buy Brandon's Ioniq 5, and I said, no, man, you got to pay off your house. Yeah, I know you bought it before. Housing prices went crazy, but an Iconic 5 is like $60,000. Brandon had a bank loan, and you'd be taking over it. For Christ's sakes, you're not even 28.
Oh, no.
Don't bury yourself in debt. You got a good job. Just buy a RAV4 and be happy.
Close
I'm
enough.
talking like 2008.
Yeah.
It's got 200,000 miles. Fuck you, it'll do another 100,000 miles. Get over yourself.
It's like you can get a RAV4. It's like if you get the 2008, it's like yeah. But if you get the Gen 1 RAV4, that's a big deal.
That's money.
You know, and it's like it's that weird thing. It's like, okay, the old RAV4 is worth more than the newer RAV4.
Yeah,
like, that's insane.
Yeah. Donovan Geiger's like 6'3", so that's a problem. Like he's really like the kind of guy who unfortunately just needs like a mid-sized truck just to feel comfortable.
Yeah, you don't have a choice. You're limited,
Yeah. RAV4 EV from because RAV4 EV existed.
Yeah.
Range of 95 miles. Goddamn.
I remember
you didn't drive my Niro yet. Like when I was in the summertime, that nice late summer when you can get away without air conditioning, just crack the windows.
Sun goes down a little bit.
Oh, it's nice and cool.
It cools off. Yeah.
You don't need heat. You don't need AC.
Nothing.
You don't even need to run the blower. You don't even crack the driver's window. You crack like the passenger window, one in the back. I do a move where I crack the front passenger window, rear passenger thing, get a crossflow that way.
Yeah.
The Niro EV at a 100% charge and not needing anything else just to drive the motor, gave me an estimate of 315 miles.
Wow.
Most EVs are like 240.
240, yeah.
So that's another plus for the Niro. But I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop because it is Kia, and they're going to be cheaping out somewhere on that car. You didn't drive that still. Like, don't get blown away. It's not going to be fast. But, it's just going to be like, I am transportation unit. I move you here and there.
I will get you there.
Yeah.
What do you mean this thing doesn't, have hyperspace mode on it or anything, man? Come on, man.
Yeah. Like, after driving a Tesla Model Plaid, it's like, I don't know where we're going to go from this. I mean, I said it in the review. A Tesla Model Plaid is so fast it makes your vision blur.
Oh, man.
It makes your eyeballs vibrate. That is 0 to 60 in 2.1 seconds.
I rode in one of those Mercedes-Benz McLaren SLR.
Yeah.
And that was like probably the fastest thing I ever rode in. And we went from one end of the street, was in Manhattan, down to the other end of the block. And that car was so fast, like your brain can't process the information that fast.
Yeah.
Like,
did it shift?
No. It was just like, and by the time we got to it was over. It was like, it was weird because like 1 minute you're at the end of the block, like a city block, and you're like, and by the time you realize, oh my god, this is really fast, it's done, and you're stopped at the light, and I was just like, what just happened? Like, to drive.
This was cool. This was in Manhattan.
Yeah, it was for
34th Street.
It was.
That's when everybody I saw going fast is like 34th because they want to go by the Empire State. That's
this was up near. This is actually, it wasn't 42nd Street. It was 41st Street between Bryant Park and Port Authority. They were doing a promotion for Top Gear USA for US.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and they were doing these rides, and they had a camera in there that filmed people's like reactions to how fast the car was and stuff, and you had to sign like a waiver. And
so did they have the street blocked off?
Yeah, they had it closed off. It was
shit.
So I was basically coming home from work, and I turned the corner, and there was just a Mercedes-Benz there with Top Gear, and they're like, "Hey, you want to ride? Sign this form. If you kill you, no, it doesn't, not a problem, And I was like, "Hell yeah, it'll get me faster to the bus station, And I rode that in that thing, and it was just like, man, that was the fastest thing I ever ridden in.
Sweet.
Yeah.
What do you think of the people who own a car in Manhattan?
It's pointless. It's like it's one of those things. It's like, oh, like if you need to get somewhere, you're leaving the city or something, or you're doing business outside of the city. But if you were like strictly living in the city, doing business in the city, that's just a huge waste of money. It's almost the same as when you'd see people that live in the city that are walking giant dogs. They don't want the dog. They just want to have the status of the giant dog saying, I live in the city. I can walk my dog in the city. Look how big this dog is. I have space for this dog,
Yeah.
So it's kind of that same vibe. It's like, I have a car. I don't really need this car, but I have a space for this car because I have that much stuff that I can keep in the city, kind of deal. So, I don't think it's really a need.
Yeah. Like when I go to the auto show, occasionally there'll be some like, you know what? No, you're making my point because the only people I see driving stuff around are the people who are part of Manhattan Car Club, and I think there's some like car storage at Manhattan Car Club because it's down there by the water, and that's probably it. The only guy I know who had a car was, Alex Roy, of course, but Raf Orlov, which was another guy from Jalopnik and Associated Press. He had a Volkswagen Beetle that had the Baja bug stuff.
Oh, the new Baja, right?
No.
Oh, vintage?
No, his was like a 71.
Oh, like a real one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Tires, rally lights, cherry bomb exhaust.
Yeah, engine hanging out the back.
Yeah, unexposed.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, let's go to my house in Brooklyn, like now. now, first of all, I didn't know it was that close. Like Brooklyn, at night, it's...
Oh, no traffic. Yeah, you go right over the bridge.
Yeah, from the Javits Center.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like scared. Like, I don't want to drive to Brooklyn. Like, had I known now, you can walk to Brooklyn in like an hour.
Yeah. If you put, I mean, it's a hike, but you can do it. Yeah.
Have you ever? How far have you walked in the city?
Oh, I've walked. I mean, all over the place because I take lunch breaks and stuff and just get out of the office and be walking everywhere. But the one time, I would walk probably all the way. One time I walked from the Penn Station all the way up to like Central Park, like in the middle of Central Park, which is probably like 2 miles, 3 miles, I guess. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a bit of a hike, but
Central Park at the top is 100.
Oh, that's in the hundreds. Yeah,
101st, 110th because of the song. I know that.
Okay,
110th Street.
Yeah,
is the top, and on the bottom, I don't know where.
It starts like 56th Street, I think.
Man, that is a while.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Yeah.
If I ever go on Being Ian, which I'd love to, I don't know how to navigate public transportation at all.
Oh, it's piece. I mean, it looks scary. Like
it does look scary to me.
It just clicks after a while. It's just like, oh, like there's the ACE, the 1, 2, 3. They all kind of sit on the same rail, but then like the 1, 2, 3, they only go so far. So if you get the 1, you can stay on the 1 all the way to the end. If you don't, you can get off and then catch the 2. If there's the shuttle, the 7 train.
Because all I need to do, like my bus, like the bus that leaves from Kutztown University, drops you off at 34th and Madison.
Oh yeah, right. That's Penn Station. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's a little.
Well, it's between 34th and 33rd, but same thing.
Yeah, it's in the same block area. Yeah.
So I need to get from that to Brooklyn somewhere. I don't know where he lives in Brooklyn. So, and I'm looking like, can I get in the mud? It's going to be where? It's going to be all going underground. They're going to rob me. Yeah. What if I just walk? And I typed it into Google Maps, and it's like an hour and 45 minutes to walk, and there's...
just take the subway. Just take the subway. Come on. Don't be a baby. Yo, just get on the subway. What's the big deal? Hey. You got a problem with the subway? Is it too dirty for you? Is it too dirty, Mr. Regular Car? Can't ride on the subway with
people are gonna look at me.
Don't worry, nobody. You know what they're looking at? They're looking at the vomit on the floor. That's what they're looking at. They're not looking at your face. They're looking at all the other filth on the street. You know what I'm saying?
They're gonna know I'm from out of town. They're gonna call me names.
Hey, they call everybody names. If you don't get called a name, you get offended.
We got a guy from in the comments says, I own a parking space in New York City.
Do you live in it?
He says I pay $575 for 2 spots. Now, is that a month? That's interesting. Yeah. Guy named Bods. Driving through New York City is such a vibe. It's just the traffic. On the subway. Google Maps will tell you where to go. Most of the lines run under avenues in Manhattan / Central Park. Driving in March 2020 was the best. Gas went down to $1.10.
Ghost town, yeah.
Probably get killed. Best death ever. Derek Dew says you're paying $2,000 a month for parking. You can actually win the city. I don't know what. $575 for 2 spots is a good deal depending on where you are. Boz says I'm paying $575 a month for 2 spots in North Brooklyn.
North Brooklyn. Okay. Yeah, it's a whole nother world out there. Like as far as like prices go for stuff like parking spaces and everything.
I would like if I had to live somewhere in the 5 boroughs. I would want somewhere that had like back access to the building, and I would want a Honda Grom. or a zero electric motorcycle. Like that would be the thing, because I've noticed like people, even though New York City and the city of New York, you're not allowed the lane split.
Nope.
But I see people do it all the goddamn time. I had one experience, and I've told the story before. I went out to visit a friend on Long Island.
Okay.
And I was trying, and my route took me through Manhattan. I was trying to find the Midtown Tunnel. I was on a 1995, or not, no, I had a 98 Suzuki GS 500 motorcycle, air-cooled twin.
Whoa.
Pretty nice. It made like, I don't know what it made, 45 horsepower or something, but it was enough for a bike. And that was like New York, the video game, on a motorcycle.
Midtown Madness, literally.
Yeah. No, it was technically a sport bike, even though it was a low-powered sport bike, but still, I was faster than everybody else around me. And I had this wonderful moment, and I'll carry this moment to the grave, is I was first in line, and conveniently enough, it was on 34th Street, where I was first in line at the light turned green, rev it to 5,000, dump the clutch, and I'm by myself.
Zipping through the city.
I had a Cobra F1 exhaust on the bike. It's what it came with. It was loud. And I'm by myself for a second, like, this is awesome. And once I learned that no one really gives a shit as long as you're not holding shit up. You're getting out of the way. I would go around cars. There's people trying to pick people out. Like, I immediately hated other people from, like, you're not from here and I'm not from here, but you're not from here. I hate you. Yeah. Someone, what the fuck you're doing trying to pick someone up off the sidewalk?
What are you doing? Yeah.
And at one point I had to stop and get my bearings because I didn't have a smartphone at the time. I had just had directions written down, and I can't find the Midtown Tunnel, but I'm not going to just stop. And I literally rode my motorcycle up onto the sidewalk. No one gave a shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just checking my shit. Okay, bump off of it on the road. And eventually I link back up with, there was a guy with a Harley riding along. He gives me the thing. He gives me, hey, man. And eventually we're like stopped next to each other. I was like, hey, how's it going, buddy? Flip up the visor. I'm like, how you going? I'm like, hey, I'm trying to find the Midtown Tunnel. You know where this is? I'm like, hey, it's where I'm going. Follow me. I'm trying to get the Long Island Expressway. He's like, follow me. And this guy starts lane splitting on a Harley. And I'm like,
oh my God.
Click, poof, and I'm going with him. And we're going and we didn't split in the tunnel. In the tunnel, we were,
that's
but that was like, just go.
Just go.
Great.
Yeah, a friend of mine went to they were vacationing in Puerto Rico, and they rented scooters, and the same thing, sitting in traffic, and like the people were looking at him like, "What are you doing? Like, go between the cars." Like that's like what you're supposed to do. They were looking at him like he had three heads. So it was like,
"What are you doing, taking up all the space?"
You're in a scooter behind a car. Go between the cars. Like, and that was like the norm.
Yeah. Everybody should own a Grom. Well, around here, a Grom is about as fast as your car. So that's the thing.
I don't know. Grom in the hills?
Like, a Grom is 125 cc's, single cylinder. I think maybe they're fuel injected now. They're a 4-speed manual with a top speed about 55 miles an hour.
They're cool looking bikes, though. Every time I see one, I'm like, ooh, that's pretty neat. You don't really see tiny bikes anymore, so it's pretty cool.
Other people, they're still talking about parking. I used to have 2 spots for like 300. Stop leasing the land. You parked on the street.
Do you have mineral rights to that parking spot?
Yeah, right. Driving in New York in the early morning with plates they can't ticket.
I've been seeing, because now they're doing the plate scanning with the plates and everything.
Yeah.
And people are taping fake leaves to the license plates and things like that.
Nice.
So like, the car was wet. There was a leaf stuck to the plate, and so like now all of a sudden there's all sorts of things getting stuck on people's license plates, and they're going through the tolls.
Sweet. It'd be awesome if it's just regular leaves.
If it's a legit thing, you're like, it was a leaf. Like, honestly,
Yeah. You'd have to get a leaf with, like, double-sided tape on the back or something like gum or...
Well, the one, it was someone actually got in trouble for this. It was a guy riding his bike through the city, and
Motorcycle?
No, bicycle.
Yeah.
And it was a city car. It was a municipal car, but he didn't know that. And what they did is they purposely, like the plastic dealer frame, they cracked it and they slid the top of the license plate frame down to cover one of the letters on the thing, so it looked like, oh, it cracked and it fell, like, you know. And he went and fixed it for the guy, and a cop saw it and actually, like, gave him a ticket for, like, tampering with the other guy's property or whatever. But because it turned out to be, like, someone that worked for the city or something like that. So they knew they could do this and get away with it because they worked for the city. And this guy, like, went and fixed it. So, like, if they went to use the car, they would have gotten charged.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you doing? Don't mess with that guy's car. You know, it was like... So there's a lot of weird things going on with license plates now, like in New York. Now they're doing speed cameras, too, now. Like,
really?
They're really pushing speed cameras in the city, and they are raking in the dough now.
Verrazano Bridge, that's part of New York City?
There's the Verrazano and the Tappan Zee and George Washington Bridge, yeah.
Like they're part, because that, like, if there was no one on that was fun, just going fast on the bridge. If you're on the upper part of the Verrazano.
Yeah.
Man, that is, I think, I don't know if as far as driving, it's one of my favorite views, is from that bridge.
I love...
You can see the city from there.
I love driving, I think it's across Bronx, no, the Outer Borough Expressway. If you're going out to Long Island from the Jersey side, and you're on this highway that's like kind of cut into like the cliff almost, where it's like this concrete like arch, and it's got like stalactites, like minerals.
There's an overhang over
it's
the
an
road?
overhang, and you're driving. Oh, Jesus! And you're driving, and you see like New York off to your left, and you're like in this little cutout, and you come out, and you're right under the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh, that is so
cool. And it's
cool.
really, really cool. And every time I go out to like Long Island for stuff, it was like, wow, I love that part of it where you're just driving along the river there, you know?
Is that like a pretty painless way to get to Long Island? Or?
There is no painless way.
Fuck. Is there ferries? Can I drive my... There's no ferries?
I know on Jersey there used to be a ferry from like Kingsburg or something, but everything is so New York centralized. Like if there's a ferry, it's going to Wall Street. It's going.
Yeah.
There's nothing. It's like if you want to take a ferry, you got to take it to the city and then take it from like Manhattan to Brooklyn. It's no easy way. There's no easy way.
It's like Long Island is like this land before time place.
It annoys the crap out of me because I'm always on Craigslist like looking for stuff, and I'll find really good stuff. Whereas it's on Long Island, even though it's like 50 miles.
Yeah,
that might as well be the moon.
Yeah,
it's just like, okay, you got to go through Staten Island. That bridge is $20. You got to go through that. And by the time you get there, it's like $50 in tolls, and it takes you all day. And it's just like, forget it. I'm not going there for anything. Like.
It's like the comedian Tim Dillon said, the only like worthwhile way in and out is the people who can afford a helicopter.
Exactly.
Like you got a Robinson R20, even if it's a Robinson R22, which is, you know what I'm talking about? What a Robinson R22 is.
What the heck is that?
That is Robinson R22. It's like a Tippmann if it's a paintball gun. If it was a controller for a PlayStation, which would be a Mad Catz.
Mad Catz? Okay.
Yeah. This is
I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah. Really cheap, yeah.
Yeah, if this is this is a Ford Tempo of the skies.
Oh, I don't want to ride
helicopters. It's a piston helicopter. It carries just you and a friend, no luggage. But they're cheap. I mean, they're like $100,000, which is cheap for a helicopter.
That's helicopter cheap, I guess, yeah.
You know, it goes, I don't know what, 40 knots? I don't know what. But the thing, like, imagine something that can only go 50 miles an hour, but you don't have to go through the city. Just go from Long Island. You could just go blah, 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 blah,
literally
blah, blah,
as
blah,
the
blah,
crow
blah,
flies.
Yeah.
Did you see the thing now? There's a thing with Uber with the helicopters?
No.
There was, I don't know if it was fake or if it was real. Someone posted a picture and they were in the city and they're like, we got to go somewhere. And there was an option for a helicopter ride.
Dude, someone exactly just said that in the comments. Derek Dewitt says, have you seen Uber helicopters that go from JFK to Midtown for $200 one way?
Yeah.
You know, if you had somewhere to be, JFK to Midtown for $200.
And the Uber XL is like $150.
Yeah.
So it's like, take the helicopter.
Yeah. But what was it, lands on like a building or something like that?
That's Uber's problem.
Best New York. One guy says best New York City view: Long Island Midtown bound, just before the Greenpoint exit. The bridge has a great height, and you see the whole skyline.
I don't think I've driven on that.
They do JFK. They also, I think they're a part of Tailwinds, I guess, which is some
Like
company
a charter, yeah,
that flies float planes to Boston. So they got a plane on floats that would
land in the river or something?
Yes, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of ferry docks. I mean, the river's not, well, the river is kind of choppy.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you can totally sully it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
just in there. But the idea of just like walking to one of the piers,
that's going to take a while.
Well, I mean, they like a Quest Kodiak or a Cessna Caravan, which are turboprop engines. They don't fly fast. They'll fly like 110 miles an hour. Yeah. So okay, you're flying. You can go from New York to Boston and average 110 miles an hour.
It's still pretty decent. I mean, it's still a hike, but yeah.
Yeah. New York stopped landing on skyscrapers a month ago. So okay. Well, what other airports are there besides JFK? You're not landing at fucking Newark. That's not helping you anything.
Yeah.
Unless there's like some weird helipad that's out by the edge of the water. There was no helipads in Central Park.
No. There's it's got to be like piers and stuff, like by like the Intrepid or something like that.
Yeah.
There's that whole area over there.
They banned rooftop pads after the Pan Am building crash.
That's a while ago. Then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone says LaGuardia. Well, why would you know?
Wasn't that's JFK? Yeah.
Yeah.
LaGuardia.
What's the worst airport in the world, and why is it LaGuardia?
LaGuardia.
I don't know. I think honestly, like O'Hare is worse, but just because like the weather is so weird. If I have to go, if I have a connecting flight, I'll take Dallas Fort Worth anytime over O'Hare. I have no reason to go to O'Hare except for the big reason to go to O'Hare. But even then, I'm dry. Like O'Hare from here is just a freaking haul in a car. Chicago from here,
I do it.
Do you do it
every time I got to go out there? I do it.
Do you one shot it?
No. We stop in Pittsburgh and break it up,
all right,
which is kind of really nice because it's like almost the halfway part to Chicago kind of deal. So yeah, it's not too bad. Sometimes we go there from like and then crash in Columbus, Ohio for a little while, and then but yeah, it's doable. Yeah.
What's your preferred car to get to Chicago?
Well, originally when we would take trips out there, I took my parents' Trailblazer out there, and that was pretty good. But it's the biggest thing you can get because like if we're all going somewhere, get as many people in as possible. You know, Suburban, like a brand. You know, just and that thing just glides along. You know, quiet. And it's weird to think about like, you know, comparing today's Suburbans being, wow, this is nice and luxurious to like an 80s Suburban. Because you have to specify like what's Suburban. Like,
old school Suburban.
Yeah, freaking square body, you know. And when you say, oh, I want to take a 2022 Suburban to the, you know, and then you got like the reclining seats and the climate control and everything. It's really, really nice. But
person is painful. Toronto Pearson. I was just talking about airports. Rental spec. Yeah, I did Chicago in the Forester. Again, breaking it up in Pittsburgh at Justin's house.
Yeah. Actually, that's where I stayed. I stayed at Justin's house.
His
old house. Yeah.
Like not the new. The old house was the one on the
Millvale. The little Main Street area.
Yeah. Did you sleep on the pull-out couch? Because I slept on the pull-out couch.
I slept in the reclining chair.
Ew.
By the record player.
I slept on the pull-out couch, and one night I slept on the couch downstairs by the reclining chair. He had that one cat that was really, really old, and it couldn't meow. It just exhaled.
like that.
And it was affectionate too. So you would hear this, and then you'd feel something. You'd have your hand or arm off the side of the couch, and it would just rub up against you. It was like, but it was all mangy and slimy and sweaty. And that's so sad when cats get that old. They go all bony.
You can't let them go though. No, it's like they're moving around. They're alive. But it's always. But
that cat died, so now I can stay at Justin's house again. No, he's got the new house outside of town.
Yeah, I have yet to go there. I want to see this place. I've seen pictures of it.
Yeah, we should go. Tim Strickler has to come out there too.
Yeah, it looks like a really cool place.
Someone says Pittsburgh. Yeah, the 63 Galaxy that I reviewed, we shot in Pittsburgh. It was so nice. 390 big block, 4 on the floor. Yeah. Convertible in light blue.
Yeah, it was a good
with aftermarket yellow Steelies. With little moon caps. I have a picture of it mounted on my wall. I wish I had the guy's number. I'd make an offer to buy that thing right now.
I want it.
Oh my God, that thing was great. Everything about it was perfect. Needs a new head unit. Like the previous owner, whoever, didn't want to put speakers in the doors, and neither do I.
No.
They put a head unit down below, like in the 80s it went in.
Oh, like that little box like below the dash?
Yeah, well, they just mounted a single DIN below the dash.
Yeah.
But then they just mounted a speaker below that, just like in a box, like a mono thing down there, which is fine. But nowadays, like it would have like old Fords and stuff had speakers in the one
in the middle, yeah.
But now you can buy stereo speakers in there.
Yeah, they have like a 4x6 that actually has the 2 ones built right into the bracket and it goes right in.
Yeah, that's what I ran in my Falcon. And you know what? Honestly, you turned it up. We're an American Band by Grand Funk Railroad. Like that is awesome.
Yeah.
Hear the cowbell perfect. It ruled.
Yeah.
We may be wrapping this up soon. Not sure.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Really? That's amazing. Never thought of it that way.
Derek Duke says, so glad I have off-street parking. Someone has off-street parking in New York?
Like, that's the sidewalk.
Right.
That's what is off-street parking there in New York? Is it like the little gate? Like sometimes they have the brownstones where it's like there's like some type of pseudo front yard that's basically a wrought iron gate that you just have to walk through to get to the front door, but that's like the yard.
Yeah, because those like brownstones and stuff. I mean, in Brooklyn, do you have backyards or no? Not. I
don't think so.
Go to Google Earth. And
I don't know much of residential Brooklyn. But yeah, there's always that. That's the thing with the brownstones. Is always that there's that little weird space. Like there's the steps going up to the door, but then there's also like that pit next to the steps where like the trash cans are.
Yeah.
And there's that little like mutant like apartment down there with another door that someone's probably paying $1 million for. It's like
the basement
apartment. And
but you can get to from outside.
It's outside, but then there's that little gate you got to walk through, and it's like right next to the trash cans. It's like it's such like a New York thing.
You gotta.
What is that called? Is
you
there a
need
name
a
for
key
that?
to get to your door. I've seen that before. Like someone I knew in Chicago. It was someone when when I was trying really, really hard to be straight, I was dating a girl from Chicago and tricking myself into thinking I can make it work. And she had this nice house, or she was in college, but she and a bunch of people owned this like apartment.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one floor, and there were floors above it and floors below it with different doors to go to them. But they didn't have to there was like an 8-foot gate.
Yep.
From the sidewalk. You need a key for that.
Get through that, yeah.
And then you close that behind you. You walk a little bit in the DMZ before you get to the door.
The front door, yeah.
And then from there were more doors going up and down.
You get that long, skinny hallway with the really narrow stairs and go up to the other floors, Yep.
Boz, well, I guess Boz lives in Brooklyn. He says he has a backyard.
Ah.
Nice. Well, that's where Honda Grom can go. Live near Bristol. There's a big crack. Okay, something. How long has this been going on?
Remember that song? How long has this been going on? Remember that?
That's a good song.
Yeah.
Everybody plays the fool sometimes. No exception to the rule. Sometimes. The guitar player for that band took me to LAX one time.
Really?
I didn't know until he told me in the Uber.
He was Ubering?
Yes. The guy, the guitarist for the main ingredient. This like iconic 70s
Whoa.
funk soul band.
Damn.
And I'm like, are you doing this? Now, honestly, I just signed back up for Lyft. I don't need to do it, but I lonely, so I'll take some friggin' meth head to Reading in my 22 Kia Niro electric car.
Now, that would be an interesting thing to have like an Uber, but it's like a feature where it's like Uber will pick you up from with a washed up celebrity. Like that would be an awesome feature. It'd be like, hey, you can take a regular Uber for like $50, but like Joe Walsh can come pick you up for like $100.
Yeah,
you know, like
oh fuck, who sang Lonely is the Night?
Lonely is the Night.
Lonely is the night when you find yourself alone.
Yeah,
we can't play copyright music because this is YouTube.
Yeah.
You can get an Uber from Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I would pay for that. Yeah.
Dang, you are still going. I was walking through Atlanta Customs at 8.
Oh,
well, it's only okay. So we've been going for an hour and a half at least. Yeah.
Okay.
So is Tony Richardson in the chat? Tony Richardson, if you're in the chat, said hi. Billy Squire, yes.
Billy Squire.
Fuck,
oh my
he
God.
I think he's still on the MP3 player that's in the giveaway car right now. Did Billy Squire also sing The Stroke? This is like a beat-off song.
No, it's not anything about that, but kind of
like Captain Jack by Billy Joel.
Yeah.
But that was really just about heroin, really.
It's, drugs and everything. Yep.
Yeah. Do you need water? You want water?
No, I'm good.
Have you had water? You had a
no,
beer.
I had 2 beers.
You had a beer at the restaurant. Now you have 2 beers now.
Yeah.
All right.
That's liquids.
All right.
It's good.
All right. Because I'm gonna make another martini.
A martini.
No, you can talk to the chat. They're right there.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this chat. Yes, he did. He did sing that. Good. Jeff Beck on the. I don't know. I think Jeff Beck is too good for Uber. I don't think so. Man, Captain and Tennille. I would love to see Captain and Tennille pull up in a nice town and country minivan, and they're in the front and you're just sitting in the back and they're like your parents. That'd be awesome. Right? Captain Jack will get you home tonight. How about that? Billy Joel shows up, takes you home, sings you a little song while you're half wasted in the backseat of a Ford Explorer. Jeff Beck isn't driving Uber anymore. So wait. So Jeff Beck was driving an Uber. No, that can't be real. Is that real? Man. You got to see his ankles. Excellent. But, yeah. But definitely amazing day hanging out today. So it was really, really fun. I don't know. The whole thing with the regular car reviews, we recorded my car and everything. And so, I'm just going by Jim. That's my name. But if you don't know who I am, I don't know. Maybe I'll tweet something later. But if you do know, you know. I know Justin knows if he's still watching this who I am. But that's it. I'm not saying anything more, but it's a good time. Oh man. Jeff Beck passed away. Oh no, I always get Jeff Beck and Beck confused because I keep forgetting. When you say Beck, like Jeff Beck, I'm thinking Beck, like Odelay Beck. You know what I mean? Like, I'm terrible with that. But I can't say what car it is. You'll find out soon enough. The martinis, yes.
Better, drier, punchier,
less dirtier. I tried like the dirty martini thing, thinking like, oh, like, because I like martinis, but like I'm like, well, there's the dirty martini, and I'm like, well, that sounds more sophisticated, and where it's like you splash a little bit of the olive juice into the martini, and it was like drinking the ocean. And people, I'm like, how can anybody with a straight face go, I would like a nice, dirty martini? I'm like, you're out of your mind. You're just saying that because you like the way it sounds.
Yeah. As I spill a little bit on my shelf, and
this is the shelf right here.
Yeah, I used to do that. I think if you really like salty foods, because it's just,
you have a deranged food palate.
Yeah, no. Like I liked it for a little bit, but what is really a lot more fun is like 5 olives in it.
Really? Yeah, you 5 olives. I don't like olives, so just
all right. So no.
Yeah.
Like you would, I think if you don't like olives, then you would like a Gibson, which is a martini but a black olive instead of the pimento.
The pimento, yeah.
Like olives, because black olives they're not packed in like brine.
There's nothing
salt.
really on them.
Black olives don't really taste like anything. You put them in a salad and it's like, oh, I'm just eating.
Yeah, they're on pizza. Yeah.
Or you could do the cocktail onion.
I've done the cocktail onion.
Excuse me. The cocktail onion is a Gibson.
Oh, that's a Gibson. Okay.
If you put a black olives in it, it's a Buckeye.
Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah.
I knew that from Alton Brown. Derek Dew says, my friend is dirty martini. I'm a single guy. I just dump vodka into whatever's in the fridge. Well, that's a college way of looking at things.
If you're gonna,
that's like a fucking room party at. What was the one that got shut down? Rainforest? That's where people were falling through the ceiling?
Oh, man. That was... that was a...
I think I was talking to someone else. What the deal with that was? Like, people just couldn't contain they couldn't contain the attendees, but it had a reputation for being a party, and then it just got out of control.
Yeah, that one was just... that was on the West Coast. I have no idea what goes down. But that was like one of those legend things going on. But man,
I'm too old for that. I guess Tony. Yeah, still streaming. I made my last martini.
Martinis, yes.
Oh, there's this one. I don't know if I put which calendar is. There's this one party I want you to come to. But I won't talk about it on the podcast. I invited Casey, and Tony might go if he's not working. Did what's his name text back to me yet on Discord? No, he didn't. There's no sadder feeling in my life than seeing someone online and not responding to me.
It's one of those things that gets to like there's like a threshold. It's where I'll get a DM or a message and I'm like, okay, I see it, I read it, but I can't really think of what to say right now, and I go back and I go do something else. And then it passes that threshold of like, okay, they know I saw it.
Yeah.
And it's now 2.5 hours later. And it goes to the point where it's like, okay, do they just acknowledge that I did see it and I don't really need to say anything? Or do I need to say anything to acknowledge that I said that I saw it? It gets to that point, and I am the worst when it comes to DMs and stuff, because it's like, it gets to that threshold point where like, well, I saw it, and I guess I'm not going to say anything, because if I say anything now, it's going to be really weird, because it's way too late to respond to it.
Speaking of DMs, I just got a DM from Blake. Says, yeah, the watch is working just fine. I'm going to go to Venmo.
Exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Aww. Why does it not come up, people? What the fuck? Are you sure that's your Venmo? Nothing comes up. Copy. Venmo. Do you not, when you Venmo people, do you not use the @? Do you just use the name?
Was it like a screen name or something that goes to to a Venmo, whatever? I never used it.
All right, I'm gonna do the thing where I just did it the way you told me to do it, and it's not doing it.
Didn't do the thing,
and it's not doing it, and
just try it 3 more times, exactly the way you did it.
Blake. Wrong. We couldn't find any matches. All right, I'm literally going to copy his Venmo screen name, putting it into here, and nothing.
Your name
so
ain't
I'm just
real.
Screenshotting that and sending it to him with this saying, am I doing something wrong? I am doing something incorrect. Also, yeah, no, my heart belongs to the Galaxie.
The Gallant?
The Galaxy. Because that was... Shoot, the former BattleBots champion in like the early 2000s when it was on like TNT or something.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember anything. I remember watching it. I can't remember anything about it. Just things smashing.
Oh, faces and names. I can immediately see his cat and his van trucks. Charles Guam. There we go. Charles Guam sent me a picture of a Falcon wagon.
No.
And I'm like, he's like, you should buy this. And I'm like, my heart belongs to a Galaxy because I already had a Falcon.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the thing is, I really want the 233 cubic inch straight 6.
Why?
Because I already owned a V8, a Windsor block, a 302 in the Falcon. But I recognize that there are no real parts for a 233 straight 6 where Windsor blocks are ubiquitous.
Yeah, yeah.
You just throw the Summit Racing catalog at it.
Yep, everything's in
runs. There. And you can... Now, even a 390 would be cool as well. Bruce Henn's worked on them a million times. They're just the big block that they put in a lot of stuff. I think it was... I don't know if the 390 was in trucks or not. But again, that was in the age, in the 60s, where you just walk into a dealership and you just say, I'd like this engine in this car, please.
Check it off, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, made to order. I want this, I want that. You can get some crazy options. You'd be like, I want the biggest engine on a 3-speed on a tree.
Yeah.
They wouldn't blink an eye. And they go, we'll have that to you in a couple months. Like,
I love with the Galaxy, the ultimate version of that, they had an option for the 427 with dual quads. Which is dual twin 4-barrel carbs. And it came with like a 4-speed.
God.
And 4-speed manual on the floor, and the transmissions just broke.
yeah, it's like It's not made for that. Like,
No, what was the 420 kicking out in the 60s? It was not the engine ratings. That's the thing, is sort of weird because they were
the horsepowers weren't like what they actually are. Yeah.
Yeah, they were more, they were less.
Yeah.
They would rate the engines with them on an engine stand, on a test.
Oh yeah,
on a
with
test
nothing
rig.
on it. Yeah.
Not even a water pump. They
Yep.
just had the total lost water moving in, moving out.
Yep.
Or maybe just a water pump like on a stand somewhere. Like, yeah, it makes this. Yeah, and this. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. A friend of mine had a '68 Country Squire wagon.
Hell yeah.
And someone modded it, and they put in a 3-speed manual on the floor.
What, a top loader?
Yeah, I don't even know. It was just
Because they did make a 3 on the floor.
Yeah?
My buddy Greg International, he has a '69 Mustang with a 302
Really?
with a 3 on the floor.
wow. I didn't know they did that.
Oh yeah, it drives like a truck.
Yeah. This one was like cut a hole in the floor. This was an automatic or something.
Oh,
so
okay.
like the automatic shifter on the car was just flopping around, and and then they put a clutch in it and everything. And it was, my friend had that, and it was straight piped, and we'd be riding around with that thing, and just late at night, just like floor the thing, like boop, turn the ignition off, and then the
key
whole
drop
exhaust just fills with gas, and then you start up and bam, like. And we do this all night, and we were in high school, and there was a guy like in a Miata just driving along, and we're in the wagon, and he's just minding his own business, and there's like a carload of kids. We're in this '68 wagon, and it just shuts off, and he's like, and he's like looking over, like this thing's completely silent, and everyone's staring at the window at the guy in the Miata because we know what's about to happen, and we're like, boom, and he's like goes flying over like in the car.
See, that's fun. That's so much more fun than train horns. Train horns requires you to just wire up some dumb air compressor.
Yeah, anybody can do that.
But key drops, those are awesome because there's a prelude to the chaos that's about to be. Boom! Oh, did Blake Ron get black to me? He says, "Oh, it's K7." Oh, okay. And my phone ends in, okay. Copy. Let me give Blake Wrong's money so I can have my gay watch back.
I drank an IPA. I actually did it.
You done did do it, then you did it.
I don't usually drink IPAs, but I did.
Do I need the at? Give me the at.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, the at symbol was such a foreign thing before the internet. Like, I remember seeing the at symbol in elementary school and going, what the hell is this? What do you need this for? Why do you need a symbol for at? It was completely pointless. And until the internet rolls around and you're like, oh, we're going to use this everywhere. So, I don't know. It was the at was just lurking in the darkness waiting for the internet.
How am I not doing Venmo correctly?
You better learn Venmo really quick because you owe me $14 for that bottle of vermouth. All right?
All I got to do is pay this guy for this watch, and I'll pay you for the vermouth.
I know guys down in Brooklyn who do things real cheap. They're real cheap. They'll take care of things, even for $14. They'll give you a really bad paper cut. All right?
What am I doing wrong with Venmo that it's not? How am I this dumb? You know, every time I've paid people with Venmo, it's always been through the QR code. They've been physically in my presence.
Oh, yeah, beep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but the whole thing with Venmo is like, oh, it's just do it through your phone. Like, does it really need a QR code? Like, what's the deal? Can they make a QR code, screen cap it, and like send it to your phone, and then like pretend like you took a picture of that?
Yeah, he'd have to like text it to you.
Text it to me.
Yeah.
The QR code, then take a picture of my phone.
Yeah. And then I can hold my phone to your phone.
And then they can get all
and then I can pay
wacky.
Blake wrong. Like,
God, what is this future?
Like, literally, Blake, this is what we're doing. We're live streaming right now, and we're trying to figure out Venmo on YouTube right now. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm typing it in exactly how you told me, and nothing happened. It's like there's no results. Every time I did it, there was the QR codes where you hold your phone to one another guy, and then you do the phone 69, and then money goes in and out.
You just got to rub the phones together like this, and like the money gets transferred electronically between phone to phone, you know? Oh, man, there's so many layers to this. We're trying to do a Venmo transaction while live streaming on YouTube.
So I can have my gay watch back.
So you can have your watch back. What is going on?
All right. Well, did you send me your Venmo?
I don't have a Venmo.
Oh, you don't have a Venmo?
No.
So I just give you money
like
an
the
adult.
Old, good old-fashioned way.
All right, fine.
I don't care. I don't even need it. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Oh. Look at this. Look at him going and getting physical currency like a savage. Remember that? Remember back in the days you go get food and it was just like, well, how much is this? Oh, don't worry about it. And everybody would just, throw money on the table. It was good old days. Oh, man. That's the thing now. It's always like split. Oh, my God. Jesus, it felt like he fell down the stairs.
Keep the change.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Look at this. It's a profitable venture right here. See, this is my Venmo right here. You see this?
That's like a George Costanza wallet.
It's bad luck to get rid of your wallet. Even if it's falling apart, you got to keep it.
I got to do an ad read in a month for one of those Ridge wallet style Ridge wallets. It's not a Ridge wallet.
Oh, is it the one that like those cards like slide out of it?
Yeah.
It's like a thing.
No, I'm gonna say nice things because they're gonna give me a little something.
Yeah.
I think it's the greatest thing. I'll shove it up my dick.
You see this wallet? This wallet will do everything. This wallet will
go inside your dick.
Will go right up inside your dick for $3.99. Come on, get one of these bad boys.
The bigger the wallet, the stronger the dad power.
It's just like
Try the person's phone number. It might be linked. All right.
Maybe.
Do I have Blake's phone number? Oh no! Don't bring live stream into this. Do I know Blake's phone number? Yep, I know his phone number. There it is.
There it is.
Let me try putting Blake Wrong's phone number, formerly of the Peterson Museum.
I always freak out when people actually have my phone number because 90% of the time when I give people my phone number, I'm completely drunk. So they're like, oh, yeah, I'll call you. I'm like, how are you going to call me? I have your number. I'm like, oh, I must have been drunk when I gave you my number.
Yeah, it just literally doesn't.
That doesn't even work either, right? The phone number?
I have to be in the wrong section of Venmo to figure this out.
Damn. Can you just Western Union the money to them?
I guess I'd have to.
I need you to go and get iTunes gift cards.
Yeah.
And tell me the codes.
Maybe if I send him my info.
Can you send like a PayPal thing, like an invoice? Like say, oh, I need whatever. No,
maybe
you're sending
on
him
his
money.
If he could send a pay request to me, then that'll work.
That might be a thing.
How do I do that? I see.
You ask them.
Yeah. Uh,
Or like it. Oh man.
what if you request money from me?
Is that a thing? Can we do this?
My name hyphen my last name number one,
A-okay.
and that's how you do it.
That's how you
Stops
make
copies
money.
me.
That is the way to make money. Just request money
Who
from
remembers-
everyone in the United States.
Wire transfer my guy wearing a frickin' wire transfer my guy wearing a frickin' wire. Hey, Mr. Rinaldi, get in the van. Tell him your Venmo name and he'll request. Yeah, I guess I just did that.
Oh, okay.
Isaac Flavely says, what kind of millennial are you? Well, that's an interesting question. I was born in the year 1981, which would make me either the tail end of Gen X or the very beginning of millennial. Or the subset called Zennial,
Zennial.
which is like this micro generation, which may or may not exist. It's for the people specifically who grew up analog but came of age digitally.
Yeah.
Like when I grew up, there was no internet.
Yeah, there was no internet. Yeah,
No.
I remember no internet.
Like, and it's more like for people in slightly rural areas that didn't have cable internet. We didn't get cable internet at my house until the year 2004.
Okay.
Before then, it was all dial-up. We
Yeah.
had dial-up in the 90s, like 98.
That's exactly when I got it, like 97, 98. I didn't even have a computer. I had a Sega Saturn with a freaking modem plugged into it.
Hot shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually I was like, I need a computer to do reports on, kind of deal.
Yeah.
But you know what you need the internet for.
I remember printing out pictures, taking them to the bathroom, beating off to them, flushing them down the toilet,
Like evidence.
and then getting on the school bus and going to school.
Oh, man. It'd be like, it was like, wait, the guy called Roto-Reader, and they're going in, they're pulling out, like,
Pictures of
like dog
tits.
matrix
Yeah.
tits.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird thing. I remember I was so jealous because in middle school we had to do the whole like current affair thing where you had to write a report from the newspaper.
Yeah.
And you had to go and dig through the newspaper, try to find an article, cut it out, anything that's remotely interesting you're going to write a page about.
Yeah.
And then you had this one kid in the classroom that had a freaking internet.
Yeah.
And all he could do was just type it in and go, oh, I just got this from the internet.
Yeah.
Here's my current current report.
Yeah.
It's like, son of a bitch. Like,
Oh, God, we had sociology class, which was a great class taught by Mr. Pejkovic, Stan Pejkovic. And I still see him around town. He's a great guy. Jesus Christ, guys. Play a stupid game with you because you guys are so stupid. That's Mr. Pejkovic. And, he was fun, though. Jesus Christ, guys. You guys draw that anarchist symbol on everything, but you still go to Burger King and want your Whopper done right. Like wrong. Whopper is like wrong. You still want a Big Mac, don't you?
yeah.
Big Mac made right. But on Fridays, he didn't feel like teaching, so we had these things called Newsweek quizzes.
Oh.
Where I think they were pre-made quizzes by like we would get Newsweek articles, and there would be a worksheet to go with them. It's the real Newsweek.
Oh, from the website?
No, the physical.
Oh, they would actually send it out to schools?
Like we had a stack of them in Mr. Pejkovic's room. It was like him and I think Mr. Hahn, who taught American government, who had just a stack of like the monthly Newsweek.
Huh.
And there were worksheets that would go with it. I mean, the answers were really clearly like in the article. You didn't have to read the article.
Look for this sentence.
Yes,
right?
exactly. and the questions were in order of the article. Like the first one was like the first bit, and that was the answer.
Yep.
You got 100% each time. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like, why am I holding it this way?
It's a very like I don't know, like football-esque way of holding a martini, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I had a science teacher that would emphasize he wanted the kids to draw extra credit if you could draw who could draw his wife the fattest. And
what?
Yes, like he would constantly say how fat his wife was. And at the end of the year, his wife comes in and she is smoking hot, skinny as a rail, and it was like the biggest joke in the world, and everyone had a big old laugh. But yeah, that was one was extra credit if you could draw the science teacher's wife the fattest, and one kid just drew an entire circle on the chalkboard and then put a little head on the top and little legs at the bottom. That kid won. It was crazy stuff. I remember stuff that happened in school. I remember one time something was going on. We were being idiots in the classroom. The teacher was out in the hallway talking to somebody, and as soon as they walk out, everybody starts going crazy. And the one kid was like the ringleader. You know, like the teacher would get pissed. It was always that one kid that was the pain in the ass. He literally took the kid and shoved him and locked him in the closet in the classroom until the point where he was crying. And
what grade was this?
This was, I would say, 6th grade. It was middle school.
All right.
And, you know, and he was like Mr. Tough Guy, bully kid. And he's like, locked the kid in the closet. And he was crying. And he let him out. And he was crying in front of the classroom. He's like, all right, now go sit down. You know, and it was like, whoa. Like, no way you could do that. Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah, that is traumatic.
Yeah, and this crazy stuff. One kid, I remember, set off a stink bomb in the hallway.
Is it the glass ones?
Those little glass vial ones. And the vice principal, because it was like this one wing of the school, like that's where it went, and they knew everyone in that wing of the classrooms. It was one of those kids. So it was 4 classrooms, and he went to each classroom and he goes, I have a device that can detect the scent of the stink bomb on your hands. So you might as well just come up to the room and tell me it was you, and I won't go as hard on you as if you don't tell me. It was like a voltmeter. It was nothing. It was literally nothing. And he was going around to each kid, like putting it in front of them to like freak them out. Just to be like, I did it. I was the one that did the stink. You know, it was kind of that deal. And like nobody did. Nobody bought it. But it was like he was trying to scare the kids. Like, I have a thing that can detect stink bomb scent on your hands. I'm like, get real.
Oh man, the thing to be a school administrator and just have to live around kids all day. You have to go nuts.
It's brutal. It was brutal.
It has to be brutal.
I had a AV teacher called Mr. Kuntz.
Mr. Kuntz.
With a K. Mr. Kuntz.
Not Kuntz.
Well, he liked to say Kuntz, but come on.
How is it spelled?
Kuntz.
Oh, there's a U. Yeah, what are you going to do with
but
a U?
Come on. Middle school, it's Kuntz.
It's Kuntz.
And he had a stroke on this side of his face.
Uh-huh.
The vice principal, Mr. Vanderslice, had a stroke on this side of his face.
No.
So the joke running in the school is, what do you get when you put Mr. Kuntz and Vanderslice together?
A whole person.
You get a smile. And it's the most brutal thing like to think of now, but that was like middle school. Like, that was the funniest thing in the world, you know? And
where did these names are amazing.
Vanderslice, Kuntz.
We had an English teacher, young guy, straight out of college, might have been 23. Taught English, may have been freshman year or sophomore year. Trying to remember English year. I can't remember. Never forget my senior year. That was Mr. McCormick. Great teacher.
I had a Mr. McCormick, yeah.
You had a McCormick?
Yeah, I had a McCormick.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely not the same one, but... Yeah.
So this may have been freshman year. His name, Mr. Grabfelder. How is that not... It's real. Grabfelder.
Grabfelder. Oh, my God.
Well, whatever happened to him. He wasn't there when I graduated 3 years later.
Yeah. Did he crack?
I got an F in his class because I didn't study for the vocab test.
Yeah.
Sucked. God, I hated vocab. I'm an English teacher. I can't spell for shit. There was 2 things that I worked so hard to get C's in. and that was spelling and any math.
Math, I was terrible at.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yep, I always had a hard time with math.
I went to summer school between freshman and sophomore year for Algebra 1. Failed it for the entire year.
Yep, sounds about the same deal.
Yeah. I did fine sophomore year. I had a teacher whose name I'm not going to say because I talked to him about him on a previous live stream because he just became infamous. He was a great teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Boy Scout leader.
Okay, say no more.
Yep.
Wow. Damn.
Great teacher. I got a B in algebra, and it was unbelievable.
That sucks. That really sucks.
He was a nice guy.
If you see him from that perspective, and it's like, wow, he was a great teacher, and it's like that's got to be under
all my
there.
memories of his class, I sat, and I knew I had to get good grades in math. I sat front and center in his class.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. He was patient.
Yeah.
And he didn't make math fun, but he made it digestible.
He made it sense.
That's the wrong word.
Oh, no. Oh. Yeah, the same thing. There was always, it's sad to think about, but there was also teachers that I had in school that were really, really good. In the back of my mind is like, there's something going on with this guy. Why is he so good? You know, that was always, it sucks to think like that, but there was a teacher who would get like, he would do after school activities, he would plan trips and all these things. And he was just amazing, amazing teacher. And always in the back of my head is like, why is he doing this? Is there something going on? There was never anything, but it was always, it just sucks. It's just like, well, why is he doing this? You know, what are you going to do?
And then when we found out about it, like I was never in Scouts, and when the news broke, it's like, why would he was a Scout troop leader. Like, fuck, there it is.
Shit.
Motherfuck, there it is. Single guy too. But this was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, so this is a long time then.
So, yeah, he's been a teacher for over 20 years.
Whoa.
And he was like, and I think he was teaching before that, too.
Yeah.
So he was like, maybe 5 years from retirement.
Shit.
That's the end of that.
That's it. It's over.
It's over, man. He's got to leave town. I don't know what's going to happen because everybody knows everybody around here.
Yeah, right? Like something like that, yeah.
Jeez. I mean, it's one of the things, like, I'll tell you about it after the podcast. But why couldn't it have been a teacher why couldn't it have been an asshole?
Yeah, like a shitty
teacher. Go ahead, fuck him.
You know what? Yeah, I totally
good.
Deserves it. Yeah. This guy taught me everything for math. God damn it.
He taught, it was the only teacher I got consistently good grades in.
Yeah.
In a subject I hated.
Yep.
Well, shout out to the other math teacher I got okay grades in, Mr. Lagola. I got good grades. See, that was Mr. Lagola, which algebra 3, which no one really takes. By that time, everybody goes calc.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah, and if I never touched, I never even made it to calc. I was like, let me get past the high school algebra 2 just to fulfill the math part, and I'm like, done.
Did you have to take geometry in high school?
See, now I love geometry because I could see it, because it had the graph, and it was like, well, where's that going to intersect? I'm like, well, apparently right there because you could see it, But algebra was like, forget it, man. It was like, it's crazy. I had an algebra teacher that was a Jamaican guy, and he had a very heavy Jamaican accent. And when he said, instead of saying thirds, he said turds, and I failed. Because all I was focusing on every time he said thirds was turds, and I'm like, just like, oh my God, like I'm trying not to laugh. It was, oh man, and that was. I always had a hard time with math, so yeah.
Yeah, math is like the numbers change values. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and it sucked because everything else I was perfect in.
Yeah,
like history, math, English. Perfect. And people are like, wow, you would have been on a honor roll if it wasn't for this D. And it was like, yeah, because I love everything else. And actually, chemistry, because it's the same thing like math.
Dude, fucking chemistry was awesome when you were learning about atoms and then chemistry just became another math class.
Yeah. It was like,
fuck this.
It was like, this is the nucleus, and this is this, and the electron spin. I'm like, whoa, everything is made
awesome.
of this. That's cool. Like, okay, now we're going to like add numbers. And
we're going to add atoms together. No, you're fucking not.
Just talk about how awesome atoms are.
Can we just have a lab where we boil stuff and like do the one thing where you extract hydrogen from water with electrolysis?
With a balloon, you know?
Yeah, that is
Come
cool.
on. I could boil water in a beaker. Come on, pass me.
God damn, man.
Yep.
Blake got back to me and said, shit, I had no idea that could work. Well, hopefully it does. I'm going to go Venmo right now.
Google Venmo?
I am going to go to Venmo right now.
Excellent.
Can you handle my relentless articulation?
Go to Venmo.com. Yeah.
Well, I don't see anything from Blake right now in my Venmo. So we're going to probably start wrapping this up.
Wrapping it up.
As of always, I'm going to wrap it up. We will end. Ooh. Aww. Thank you to everybody who watched this stream. Thank you to everybody who donated to Regular Car Reviews via Super Chats. We spend our money well. Thank you to everybody who donates through Venmo. You're helping Regular Car Reviews to exist as a much larger channel that it really is. Thank you to everybody who watch every single Monday. You're helping me have a job. And thank you to everybody who participates in the giveaways. You're helping our travel budget. RCR Australia 2024. And now, the weather. At RCR Central, it is 37 degrees. Sunrise was at 7:28 a.m. Sunset was at 4:58 p.m. Chance of rain, 50%. Humidity, 73%. Winds, south-southeast at 5 miles an hour. Wind chill, 34 degrees. Pressure is steady at 30.22 inches of mercury. Visibility, 9 miles. And now the temperature for Stanhope, New Jersey.
Stanhope.
Currently, it is 37 degrees. Sunrise, 7:22 a.m. Sunset at 4:51 p.m. Chance of rain, 50%. Humidity, 66%. Winds, south-southeast at 2 miles an hour. Feels like making love.
Ooh.
Pressure, 30.26 inches of mercury. Visibility, 10 miles. End on Thursday. Precipitation, 90%. High, 52 degrees. Low, 30. End on Friday. Precipitation, 40%.
All 5 weeks.
High, 54%. Low, 30. I cannot get out of the Weather Channel character.
Can I break this bottle and just end myself right now?
Can I break this bottle and end myself? You're not a fan of local on the 8s? Accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
TheWeatherChannel.com. Highs in the low 40s.
This stream makes working nights less miserable. And now the weather. I look forward to this more than I should. Good night, fellas. I should do another stream that is just the weather.
The weather.
There is no politics. There is no posturing. There is only the weather.
The entire
Good
East
night.
Coast.